Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having an amazing day. Taking a look here at Solana, seeing what's going on here. Got a big request for this one, actually quite a few, of course, and just want to make sure we cover this here and kind of see what's going on. So if you are new to the channel, I'm not a financial advisor. I love teaching people to trade. Really hope you can learn something here today if you want to become a better trader. Obviously, cryptocash.tech is the site linked down below. You likely already know that if you've been watching my videos, and if you are new, thanks again for watching. We do have a Twitter, if you would mind, go ahead and help us grow our Twitter account here, of course, and then also more important as well, help you out. We've got BingX, a new exchange that allows for you to benefit before July 31st with some deposit bonus and some volume rewards. Basically just an option for those in the states that do not require, because they don't require KYC or VPN. So it's really nice. If you live in the States, Canada, or countries where you've been restricted from KuCoin, Bybit, BitGet, then they have you covered, essentially. Okay. So again, thank you so much, BingX, for providing that to our community. Okay, so here's the thing with the daily on Solana. We want to talk a little bit about this. So we've got this descending trend continuing, right? We're seeing all sorts of lower highs and consistent lower lows. Okay, today could be that shift in momentum where we do see the price action hitting that resistance level or breaking through it. Okay, one of the two is going to happen, obviously. Now, we're going to see if there's enough momentum to continue through this or if it's just going to reject out and continue lower. There's a small handful of reasons why it could do both, okay? So we're going to talk about that. That being said, let's look at some important things here. First of all, we're above all three moving averages tentatively. We're tentatively above the 20, and the 20 is a trend setter, so it's a good thing that we're above that. If we close above that, that'd be a good sign. But it's, again, still too early to tell, a little premature. The bottom line here is that we're above these other two, the 50 and the 200. Those are the more important ones. So the key takeaway here is if the price even comes down lower, I think 20 to 21 should be the lowest point. Okay? So again, we're looking at that here in that sense. We can also see that the previous fair value gap was covered here or essentially filled. Okay, so that would have been a good place to get in, roughly there at about 22.75. Again, hindsight's 2020, but that's exactly a place in which you want to kind of try to pay attention to is when you have these large gaps. Then once it gets filled, price typically has a tendency of reversing itself. Okay, so be mindful of that. But that's kind of where we're at there here for Solana. So let's take a look at, of course, a few other factors here as well. We want to take a look at the 4-hour time frame and kind of see what's going on here. So with the 4-hour, we are getting rejected by the 50-day moving average. And this is a common characteristic for a trend, right? So we can establish the trend line is coming down. You can see the trend line is concurrent with that moving average. And it essentially basically is telling us here that we have lower highs. Now, with us hitting that level, one of two things needs to happen. We need to break through that or get rejected by it. Now, keep this in mind. We have a bit of an overextension on stochastics telling us we should see a turnaround here soon because this momentous trend is coming to an end. In other words, we're at a 6. We could see a few more hours of continuation, but the bottom line here is that we're hitting somewhat of a resistance shelf, okay? So volume needs to accumulate at this level in order for us to get through it. Let's take a quick look at the volume and kind of see roughly where we're at here. Okay, so based on what we can see here so far with the volume, there's a lot more volume above the current price action than below. Okay, so that tells us we need to build more of a volume profile here in order for us to leg up. Because again, there's a lot of sellers in this area here that are basically saying, hey, we do not want the price to go any higher. We're going to take profits here because that's a profit margin for us. That said, there's a strong likelihood we could see an initial rejection with a potential retest here for potentially a cup and handle where the price action pulls back to this next level and effectively bounces. Okay, so there's a possibility of that. So just keep in mind there is scenarios like that. If we take a look at the fair value gap here in the 4-hour, you can see there is definitely some value there that needs to be acquired. It's not going just to shoot up to that level because of it, but that is definitely a magneticism where the price will probably continue upwards to that level and then possibly reject from there. Again, that's a little bit off on the future. The main thing here is that we've got a lot of volume in that area, that range, and that's going to provide a resistance for us. Okay? That said, Solana does look like it may continue to come down first before it comes up. I don't think it's going to be a significant drop, but I do think that a pullback would make more sense to give it a second run up here. Because a lot of times when you come up to a resistance level, the first and the second attempt don't come through, but the third or fourth does. So again, boom, boom, we're probably going to see some kind of cup and handle is my speculation. All right, so taking a look quickly at some other things here as well. We can see the continuation upwards here, of course, by the MACD, telling us we have good momentum. A lot of times taking a long position into a MACD convergence is ideal. Again, it's not the only factor, but the bottom line here is that there is still more room for growth, right? So the 4-hour time frame tells us we've got potential continuation higher, but at this point, we're tentatively bullish, and the price action is on the right side of the track, so that's a good sign. Okay, so again, if you're going to short, I would not short too super long, maybe to 24.5, somewhere in that range, or more so the low 20s. Sorry, low 24s, maybe just say 24 to 24.20. We can draw some newer Fibonacci retracement levels to kind of see what that might look like. But bottom line here is that it's not really ideal to short into this, even though it seems fairly juicy. You can kind of see here that we are getting overextended. We're at a 7 here. And a lot of times when you come up to a 9, right into a resistance level, you will see rejection, but you'll also see a breakthrough too. One of two things can happen, and I know it seems kind of contradictory, but a lot of times you will see a push there. So again, I don't feel great about this. I would say a short seems slightly more probable than a long as far as that is concerned, but we can take a look here and see that there is some value here, of course, in the most recent past, where the price action should come down to fill this little gap there. Again, 24 even would be a good profit target if you're going to be shorting. Okay, so again, that's not a massive amount of profit, somewhere in the range of 2 to 3%, but hey, it could work out. All right, so again, I'm not telling you to short, but I'm just saying that in general here, there is more potential for the price to pull back than to increase here. Because once again, we are a bit on the overextended side. If we take a look again at TD sequential, we're at a 7. We've kind of been running up for a little while now. If we take a look at the cloud too, this is the definitive factor here. This is a case in point where you probably want to consider, if you're going to short, only short to the top of the cloud here, okay? Because again, price action will likely bounce there. That's where that cup and handle will probably come through. It comes down to bounce off of this level here. So to me, either a long at 24 even or a short to that level would make sense. And then consider, of course, holding until we hit that fair value gap in the 26 to 27 range. So that's generally what we're looking at here. It's all in all pretty decent. I mean, this coin is mostly back on track. And until we break through this level there, about $25, we're not going to really be in a position to say that, hey, we're right back on track. We're almost there though, okay? So again, I think we're looking fairly decent. So, Solana's looking fantastic here. In my opinion, this is a good situation. I'm going to set an alert for 24 and see if we can go ahead and possibly get in at that level. And then, of course, between now and then, consider a small short between now and then, okay? So again, I do that on I do shorts and longs on my my copy trading account, which is available, of course, here on BingX. So be sure to check that out. Links down below if you're interested. Fairly high success rate, but unfortunately, we took like a liquidation recently that caught us off guard. So unfortunately, learned from that mistake, but fortunately, going to be able to recover from it because it really wasn't a large position size. Okay, so again, trade with small amounts, obviously, until you get enough of a foothold. And if you're going to be trading, without a stop loss, which we did, then make sure that you obviously have a small position size in case something were to run in the wrong direction. Okay. Again, a lot of different ways to mitigate that damage, but the bottom line here is that I do teach all those things, of course, in my Trade Academy. So link down below if you want to become a better trader, cryptocash.tech. Thanks again so much for joining me here. I hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll see you in tomorrow's video. Thanks again.